over the limit and the target. So if you do a cool lap, you bring it back to the target pressure, and then you can push again. So when they see the reason and is a graph, is written in data, in numbers, and in lap times, they could understanding better compared to just an explanation without also the evidences which we have. So now they really understand, but we also have to teach them how to do it, because when you cool down the car and the tires, sometimes you also cool down yourself, but that can be too much. So when you push again, the car is ready, but you are maybe not anymore in your window, in your rhythm anymore. So when you do a cool lap, you have to make sure that when you push again, you are straight on top of it and ready to push.
And is there a strategy to the cool down lap? I mean, do you do things differently? Do you come off the racing line? Do you try and, I mean, I know when it's a wet session or a semi-wet session, you might try and find puddles to keep the tires from degrading. Is there something like that with the cool down lap, or you take a different line to try and cool things down? Get out of the slipstream, for example, to get more air in the ducts or something?
Yeah, the main thing is be less aggressive on the brakes, so automatically arriving less fast in the braking zone, so use a little the brake. We ask them not to go off the line, as off the line you may find a little bit of dust or dirt or marbles, which is it's the part of the rubber that comes off the rubbers after the abrasion. And when the tires are hot, you pick up all these little marbles of rubber, which is not good for the tires. So we ask them to stay on the line, but my advice is always, especially for the younger driver, to cool down a lot in the first sector, and then in the second sector start to get back slowly into the rhythm. And in the third sector of the cool down, I ask them to already be fully pushing. So when they start the lap, they are already mentally ready to start again. Because believe me, it's really hard when you are pushing hard, very focused, and then suddenly you just relax for 2 minutes for a cool lap, and then it's very difficult to be switched on again and be ready to push and be committed after a long straight like this one, and then braking as late, as hard as possible into turn one. That's very difficult from the mental point of view, to be committed to be braking at the very last meter and pushing, trusting that the car can give you the best grip. So if you felt that in the closing sector of the cool lap and you know the grip is there, then you're more motivated, more ready.
Well, Luca, I've been racking my brain trying to figure out something else we can tell the ladies and gentlemen about tires that we haven't told them already 10 times. And you just mentioned marbles. What are the marbles?
So basically, these tires, they don't really have the wear like our normal tire, that basically they just have the natural wear. But what we have is the abrasion of the rubber, which is on the tread of the tire, on the asphalt. And when the temperature becomes a little bit over the window, the target, which is a very, very specific term, which is called working range. The working range is the window where the tire temperature is optimal. If you go a little over, so you overheat the tire a little bit, then the heat makes the rubber a little bit too soft, and the abrasion of the tire on the asphalt makes a little, it's called marble, I don't know if there is another part of the thread of the rubber that goes from the inside to the outside. And once it's on the outside and you lean on the tire with the lateral G, then the marbles and this little part of rubber just gets ripped off the tire and moves away of the line. So if you go away of the line, you may collect this part of rubber on the hot surface of your tires.
Well, okay then. I've let Luca talk long enough. Let's get back to the action. 4 laps into qualifying, and we have a 2:08.463 from Solomon Zanfari. That looks to me like people are starting to put the foot down. We're expecting 2:06s in this qualifying, and Hamda Al-Khabaisi is just behind the orange number 52 with a 2:08.718. But ladies and gentlemen, Andrei Petrovic has just gone fastest in Sector 1 with a 4:46.206. We're expecting big things from Andre, and in just a few moments we'll see what happens in sectors 2 and 3. But we have to give some recognition to Hamda Al-Khabaisi in the purple number 8. That's her pit board, ladies and gentlemen, and that's her mechanic as well there. Denny Nuke had a lot of experience here with this seasoned hand who's joining us this season and is doing a fantastic job for the young Khabaisi, the Emirati driver, having a good showing in this season again and again and again. She was up on the top step in Kuwait, and I hope to see her back up there very, very soon indeed. But back to the track, we have Andrei Petrovic now in the red, number 49. Andrei, driving for Serbia, has been atop the standings, the championship standings, and been knocked off and up again. And I don't know where he is at the moment, but I know where he intends to be come the end of these next 3 events. That's on the top step of the podium, the red number 49 coming down the main straight now. Some of his rivals in sight, the white number 11 of Oscar Wurtz, the Austrian, I should say, having a fantastic start to the season at the trophy event in Bahrain, but not managing to replicate that success so far in Kuwait or Qatar. He, of course, is rebuilding his confidence after a unlucky first outing at the Kuwait Motor Town, and is really getting back up to scratch, as we can see. And as I mentioned in free practice, I believe he's actually going to be on the top 7 of the podium. Well, there isn't a podium for qualifying, perhaps there should be, but in any case, I believe Oscar's going to be up there on pole position in 18 minutes time. Luca Philippe has the red number 49 in his bet, so we'll see very soon who comes out on top. Just ahead of them on track, I believe there's another white car. That might well be Federico Al Rafai, who is one of the championship contenders alongside Solomon Zanfari. And really, we're going to have a lot of action here very soon. These 3 following each other through this section of the track quite closely indeed. How big of a factor here is the tow, Luca?
Oh yeah, it could be potentially very positive for Andrei, is following the both white car, so he can benefit for both of them slipstream, and he's improving himself in sector 1. So he's done already a really fast lap time, 7.6, which is already very competitive at same level as yesterday night practice after 6 hours. But here, after only few laps, he's already doing the same lap time, so it's very positive. And now he's trying to keep improving. It's not only important to keep improving, but also to do 3 laps at more or less the same pace. That, I think, is the crucial thing of this qualifying, as the third best lap is what it counts for race 3 of today.
Third lap for race 3, second lap for race 2, first lap for race 1. That's the way it goes here this weekend. And really, you've got to be pushing the whole way through. You got to set 3 fastest laps if you're going to qualify at the front of the grid for the full points races. That's race 1 and race 3. On track now, you can see Hamda and Hamda Al-Khabaisi in the purple cars coming into the pit lane. The young sisters seem to do everything together. I was watching them doing their practice starts at the end of the pit lane just last night, and they're really quite in sync. Team Purple is, and of course they're being led by Brandon, one of our most experienced engineers, an F2 engineer, had a fantastic run in F2, and well, he's doing a great job here as well. As you can see, the mechanics now bringing them into the pit lane. Denny Nuke and Ryan, of course, joining him in just a moment's time. Number 8 and number 88, ladies and gentlemen. On screen, on the timing board, we have Hamda Al-Kabaisi in the purple number 8 car doing a 2:08.396. That's about 0.8 of a second off pole. She's in third position at the moment. Andrei Petrovic is burning rubber around the track now, though, with a 2:07.630, and we expect that to fall down into a 2:06 or a 2:05 very shortly indeed. Not enough rubber on track yet, ladies and gentlemen, to see a 2:04, as of course we're the feature event here this weekend and there's no support categories. But that's not going to stop Andrei Petrovic and Kirill Kutskov as well, who's up there with the 2:08.561, second fastest man on track at the moment. Andrei on new tires though, and I'm not sure the state of Kirill Kutskov's tires. He is a very calm young man, and he may well have decided to change tires in the middle of qualifying. Do you happen to know his strategy, Luca?
Yes, so both Saker in P2, Saker and Kirill, they have a similar strategy to Andrei with one set of tires only, and Saker being able to improve himself to a very good lap time, to 8.0, while I expect Federico now also improving. Federico and Oscar Wurz with the white cars, yesterday they were both being able to lap under the 2:08, so I expect them to improve their lap time significantly in the rest of the session.
Improve it significantly, Luca. Improve it significantly how? Where do they need to go? What time do they need to find? Is there a line that they need to be taken? Are they braking later? What do they need to do?
So I believe that in this circuit, with so many corners, more than 20, to do a perfect lap is almost impossible. So the closer the lap is to perfection, the better. So it's not just about finding the grip, finding the gap, finding the toe if you have one, but doing everything right in the same lap. It's so tricky, because you might have one lap that you did the first section better, the other lap that you did the last section better, but doing all together, it's very tricky. So right now in this session we have 13 minutes to go. I think we can see maybe a little bit of improvement, but I don't believe we will go down too much in terms of lap time. It's interesting to see how much the evolution of the circuit will be. It's really hard to predict, but with Andrei being so quick, I don't believe we won't go so much faster than this. I think 2:07.6 is already a very good lap time. Andrei can improve himself. He is now improving sector 1. We believe that after the cool down lap, you have an opportunity to improve your lap time. This is what we have seen yesterday, and this is what all the drivers are trying to do. So Andrei, after the cool down, is now on a very good lap time. This is if he can put it together, it will be a really fast lap. And now also Federico Rifai and Oscar Wurz are also both of them in a cool down lap.
Little bit of a block there from Federico Al-Rifai. He had moved over, but is that going to hurt the time there for the light blue number 23 of Kirill Kutskov?
2:07.4 Andrei, so he did improve a couple of tenths. That is really positive for his charge to pole position, but also to make sure he has 2 similar lap time, or 3 now. He now has 3 similar lap times in the 2:07. That can be the crucial part of the weekend, because we know qualifying how important it is. Now, what I believe that we have to understand if is a good strategy from Zanfari and the 2 Alcubezi sisters to go for the second set or not. I think this is what we have to see, if they can find extra grip and extra time with using the second set or not.
they already changed when they came into the pit lane just now, right? That was the purpose of that maneuver. So we're going to see very soon. If they were on used tires with that time they've already set, that's quite impressive indeed. And hopefully Honda will be able to get herself up into P3 on the news. But P3 at the moment, Federico Al-Rafai just ahead of Kirill Kutskov. Man of the session so far, though, maybe Sagar Al-Mashaj. P2 must have had a good coach there, Luca.
Sagar, we know, is very talented driver, and we've been looking at the data. He was pushing a little bit too much the entries, but there was one specific corner where he was incredibly fast and he was doing a really perfect job. So we told him to focus on that driving style and try to reproduce that in the other part of the circuit. So he's definitely doing a good job, and Oscar Wurz also is improving his lap to 2.707.
He is within 0.3 of pole. Who mentioned something about an Austrian and a pole position?
Yeah. That's definitely challenging because it's getting closer and closer. Oscar Wurz is now 0.3 off, but Oscar, we know, is the guy that when he finds the confidence, then he can really improve himself lap by lap. So it's positive for him that in this part of the session, the next lap will be another potentially good lap for the tire, because it's after the cool he was able to improve, but then the second again the second lap after the cool can also be fast.
A little bit squirrely on the entry there for Federico Al-Rafai coming into turn 13. The line there, you stay out on the outside and cut back in, or is there a special line because of the negative camber on that corner?
So because of the camber, you can go in quite early, like Federico did. He just had a little bit of locking, maybe trying to brake as hard as possible. But yeah, it's one of those corners where if you have a little bit of lockup, but you can still have a good exit, you don't really lose a lot of time. It's just a slight little mistake.
A little blip in an otherwise perfect lap. Let's have a look at the leaderboard and see where everybody is situated at the moment. Andrej Petrovic is maintaining his pole position with a 2:07.434, while Oscar Wurz in P2 with a 2:07.738. And just as I say that, Kirill Kutskov cuts across the line with 2:07.701, just ahead of Oscar Wurz, now P3, while Sagar Al-Mashaj takes P4 ahead of Suleiman Zanfari. 7 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock, and there's a lot of action still to come. As Luca already said, we've seen that drivers do go faster after their cooled down lap, and that's exactly what we expect to happen shortly. And they may even go faster again if they get in a third push lap after the cool down process, which I believe you said was 2 laps, Luca.
Shout Zanfari.
Suleiman Zanfari coming across the line now.
Improve this lap, but now he did his best lap, so I think his tires are now ready, and he now can push on his second set of new tires. So let's see if he can pull any extra performance, like also the two Alcobenzi sisters that they found a little bit of traffic there, but they are now pushing, and Amda is she just did her best sector 1.
Personal best sector 1, 46.375. The purple number 8 car just behind her. Less than 0.5 of a second separate the two drivers as Amna Alcobenzi in the purple number 8 gets the toe around this circuit. They're coming down the back half of the circuit now, ladies and gentlemen, and in just a moment we'll have them on screen. There they are coming through. You can see there's a little bit of traffic ahead of them. That might be Abdulaziz Abu Zanada in the green car. Of course, 2 green cars on track this weekend. Saud Al Saud joining us from Porsche. a lot of experience at the young gentleman's fingertips, but his first time in single-seaters, if I'm not mistaken, and his teammate Abdulaziz Abu Zinada, who is on the championship poster this weekend, and a beautiful poster it is, but his goal is to be back up on the rookie podium once again, as he was in Qatar. As they come across the start-finish line now, Abdulaziz Abu Zinada in the green, number 99, crossing first ahead of the 8. The number 8, the purple number 8, and the purple number 88. Was that a push lap, Luca, or was that a warm-up lap?
So in the meantime, we have Hamda Kubaisi improving a little bit, and they are all very close, especially from position 2 up to position 7, only in 3-4 tenths of a second, with, you know, in a 2 minutes lap is a very, very little gap. So anything can happen in, you know, in this position. Let's see, Suleiman Zamfari now, he had a cool down lap, so he will push a lot in the next coming lap. So with 5 minutes to go, ooh, now Hamda getting very close to the car in front, and definitely he lost a little bit of ground in this lap.
Kirill Kutskov there, ladies and gentlemen, the light blue number 23 car. Kirill, of course, up in P2 at the moment. Into the pits he goes. Is he going to go out again for one last lap? 5 minutes, or just about 5 minutes left on the board. They could if they choose to do so. Or do you think they'll decide that's it for qualifying?
Yeah, that's it for Andrei Petrovic, Kirill Kutskov, Oscar Wurz, and Federico Rifai. So of the top 4, they are done with their qualifying. So who has an opportunity is still Sakir Al-Musherji and Suleiman Zamfari, with the two Al-Kubaisi sisters still pushing on their second set of tires.
Yes, indeed. The light blue number 5, the sister car to Kirill Kutskov in P5 at the moment, is coming around the track. I believe I saw him just behind us on the opposite side of the track as he comes into the final few corners of the circuit. Just ahead of him, the Al-Kubaisi sisters 8 and 88 doing their final push lap, I believe. Omal Walid Al-Durrani crosses the line and does a 2:08.983. That's good enough for P10 as Amna and her sister Amna. Hamda doesn't manage to improve this time around, but Amna sets her personal best to 2:08.201. Very nice indeed, which is just 9 thousandths of a second off of the sister purple car, the number 8. So a good showing from these two young drivers. On screen at the moment, though, Oscar Wurz. I had Oscar pipped for pole position, but I may have given him the commentator's curse. He was up in P2, less than 3/10 of a second off pole, but Luca Felipe, the wiser, more seasoned driver, of course, predicted Andrei Petrovic would be on the top step from qualifying, and indeed he is so far. But Suleiman Zamfari, ladies and gentlemen, in the orange number 52 car, is still on track and just did a personal best at 46.226, and well, it's not over till it's over, and there is several more corners for Solomon. No, there's not at all. There's crossing the start-finish line just now, and he manages to do a 2:08.106, just 6/10 of a second off of pole position, but not quite good enough to get into the top 5. Did he cross the start-finish line with time on the clock? Yes, he did. He can probably get another 2 laps in if he chooses to do so. Do you think he's going to go for that?
Yeah, he can do another couple of laps, and he did improve in the first sector, but unfortunately he has lost in the final part of the lap, and he wasn't quite able to match his previous lap time. So the gap is really close, because with a jump of 1 or 2 tenths of a second from P6, he could gain 2, 3, 4 places, which is you know, very meaningful for his championship fight, as in now he's in P3 in the championship, and definitely is aiming to try and fight for the championship, and it's crucial for him. But now Hamda improved their position in P4. Hamda,
fantastic. The purple number 8 doing a 2:07.797, just 3/10 of a second off of pole position. I believe that's the top 5 now within 3/10. She bumps Sagar Al-Musherj down into P6 and puts Federico Al-Rifai into P5. That's a very interesting top 5 for the first race. on screen now, ladies and gentlemen, we have Abdulaziz Zanada in the gorgeous F4 Saudi Arabia suit. Just behind him, his father, and to the left, that's Marcello Puglisi, who you'll all know very, very well from our starting grid interviews. Back into the pit lane, we of course see the pit lane marshal making sure that everything is done as per FIA, while Laura Villas parks her blue number 55 and is helped out of the car. Back to Marcello now. What do you think Marcello is telling Abdulaziz at the moment? Abdulaziz has some time to work on here at his home track, but as you mentioned, it's not to worry, Luca, because he'll have another 2 shots at it in just a few days' time, and that's exactly the purpose of the championship, to give these young drivers as much time as possible on track so that they can learn their racecraft and build themselves up and move on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, absolutely, and being able to race again on the same circuit, he will definitely improve, and he can keep improving, because now his gap is getting closer and closer, smaller and smaller, race by race, and everybody is improving, but it's good to see that the field is getting more compacted every time we go on track. Suleiman Zanfari is had a very good first sector in the previous lap, but again he was very consistent in his lap time, but not able to improve. His last lap was 2:08.4. Amda, she now crosses the Czech Republic with a 2:79, which is very positive for her for the race 3, because she was able to do a couple of laps, if not 3 laps, under the 2.8, which is, I believe, very positive for the race 3 start of today, which is the last race of the day.
Yes, indeed. And talking about starting grids, who's going to be up there for race 2? I think we're going to have Abdulaziz Zanada and then Laura Villas and Jabbar Al-Thani starting at the front of the grid. Fantastic for those young drivers to get a chance to see exactly what they can do at the front of the grid. But let's have a quick look back to Suleiman Zanfari. He's coming across the final corner now. He's on his final push lap, but it looks like he's realized that he doesn't quite have the pace at the moment. Of course, it comes and goes. It depends on the track. It depends on the time of the day. Even everything can change. Even if a little bit more rubber down, it might suit your personal line just a little bit better. And you can see Suleiman, of course, realizing that and coming into the pits to regroup and start to work on his strategy for the races. We're coming to you with the races in just an hour, 15 minutes time. We'll have the first race, and all 3 races will be held tonight, and it's going to be really an action-packed night, and I can't wait to see what these young drivers have in store for us. Starting at the front of the grid, we're going to have Andre, Kirill, Oscar. It's going to be a battle coming down into turn 1. Hamder and Federico as well. It's going to be something special, I think, Luca.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was amazing to see all the drivers doing an amazing job in practice and qualifying with no mistakes.
No mistakes. A beautiful, beautiful session. Let's have a quick run
Andrei Petrovic,
down to the pit
you
lane.
did it. You are in pole for the last weekend in Jeddah, and how does it feel? I mean, in the last race in Losa, you were really fast, really consistent all the way through the pre-practice and the testing, but then something didn't work out. This time you made it.
Yeah, finally I had the speed through all the practices, and same as in Qatar, but in Qatar I couldn't show it in qualifying. Now I'm very happy that I managed to put all of the good laps on the board and secure the pole for the race 1 and the race 3, so I'm very happy.
Well, I don't want to share too much with the other people that are going to fight with you during the race, but which will be your strategy for the race? You think you can pull away straight away, or here the talk can be really tricky and maybe it's better just play with it?
I'll try to pull away from the beginning, just as fast as possible, close to the walls, and we'll see what happens.
So good luck for the race. See you out there.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marcello, and thank you, Andre. A great drive in the qualifying session up to P1 on pole position, 2:07.434 for the Serbian in the red number 49. What do you think, Luca? Did it go well? Well, let's have a quick run through the results. Now we have Andrei Petrovic on pole position just ahead of Kirill Kutskov and Oscar Wirtz. It's going to be a fantastic battle into into T1, ladies and gentlemen. And we've seen we've seen a lot of special things on track so far, but I think this is going to be extra special here under the lights at the Jeddah Corniche circuit. P4 is Hamza Al-Khabaisi and P5 is Federico Al-Rafai. A fantastic strategy there from Hamza to pip the top 4 spot and push Sagar Al-Masraj down into P6 ahead of Solomon Zanfari and Amna Al-Khabaisi, while Faisal Al-Kabani and Omar Al-Walid Al-Drani round out the top 10. Saud Al Saud in the green number 3 car is P11, a good showing for the young Saudi driver. He has some experience here at the Jeddah Corniche circuit, but it's his first time in a Formula car, so actually taking that all into consideration, I'm very impressed indeed. While Jabbar Al Thani finishes P12 ahead of Laura Villas and Abdulaziz Abu Zanada. Let's look for quick highlights of the qualifying now and see all of the action from the session. Down at the Jeddah Corniche circuit for the Invest Saudi Gulf Prix 27-28 March 2020-24 across Formula 4 Saudi Arabia, the Aramco sponsored championship. As you can see on the car are the red number 49 of Andrei Petrovic, who managed to pip the top spot here in qualifying with a 2:07.434 for the Serbian driver. Fantastic showing for him indeed. The light blue number 23 of Kirill Kutskov is next up, a 2:07.701. Kirill has had a bit of a tough time in qualifying the last few events, but he's put it all together now and is behind his main rival for the championship. P3 and P4, Oscar Wirtz and Hamza Al-Khabaisi, of course, showing us something as well here this weekend. The purple number 8 on screen at the moment, leading her sister around the track and really doing her team proud. Well, really, Luca, for me, that's the end of qualifying. It was a fantastic session. I'm glad everybody joined us, and I hope everybody comes back to watch the first race in just an hour or so's time.
Yeah, absolutely. It will be a fantastic show, so can't wait.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. See you again very, very soon.